Hello there, and welcome into this video where I'm going to talk about the astrology for this end of 2024, this last few days, and our Capricorn New Moon that's taking place on December 30th, and what the tone that's going to be set for that month ahead of January, but the deeper resonances that will be continuing these next few months. If you are new here, my name is Chrissy Whistler. I am an evolutionary astrologer, energy practitioner, an intuitive guide. Also, more importantly, I'm the mom of two very uniquely different, beautiful children who have been my absolute greatest teacher. If you are needing support, please do reach out. You can have a birth chart reading for yourself or, guidance, energy healing, and work. Just go to chrissywhistler.com to find out more. And if you find this video helpful, do please like it, to share it with your friends, subscribe to this channel. It really does help me so much to get these messages out there. Now, in this video, I'm going to be focusing on the astrology. I did a much bigger video. Hopefully this won't be as big. We'll see what happens. There's a lot going on with the astrology. But I did a separate video specifically looking at the energy of 2024, December 2024. Like, what were the stories and the patterns that were really playing out, and those energetic themes. And I also did some card reading at the end. So if you're interested in that, please go there. This one, I want to hone in on the astrology. Now, please know as well that I'm not going to be covering everything. There's a lot of astrology at play. There's a lot going on right now, so I will do my best to bring forward those main highlights. But please know it's not the full, complete, picture of what everything could be. Otherwise, this would be a much, much longer video than it's already going to be. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So we have been very, very intense astrology really coming through beginning of December, especially when Mars went retrograde. Mars has also been in opposition to Pluto, and we will be having our second opposition coming in January. So there's a lot. There's a lot. We also had Jupiter square to Saturn on Christmas Eve, so 12/24. So there's so much of this philosophical questioning that's at play right now. And where is our place in the world? What is it that we are here to do and that we can build and bring forward? But it's like there's an energy coming in to bring in that turning, to turn the corner. So there can be this real pressure cooker of questioning, who am I? What is the purpose of all the things that I'm doing? What is my purpose for being here? And so you can find yourself in that crunch point of really needing to go into that to find out what that is for you. We also, as well, Mercury also came into opposition with Jupiter, and then as well squared Saturn. So there's a lot of brilliant insights that can be coming through. This real genius energy is sort of the signature for that we're in right now, and that will continue as well in January. So just kind of be mindful that brilliant insights, out of nowhere, these deep intuitive hits and understandings, like really trust in those, even as it may be uncomfortable to go into them and to break sometimes old traditions, old beliefs, especially beliefs. Our beliefs are going to be challenged. Are those beliefs still the right ones for us, or is it time to change things up? That's some of what we're working with here. And definitely this deep going into of the past, especially when it comes to relationships and other people. But we have to actually lean into that. It's not just going to be served to us on a silver platter. We have to be willing to go in and to do that deep reflection and that deep work. This is that December 27th, 26th energy. We're still kind of in it, but Mercury again, opposite to Jupiter, also is in a quintile to that south node in Libra. So there is that past coming through, reflection of relationships, how we might have been codependent, and now can we see the bigger picture, why that story was in place? Can we start writing a new story? Choices has a lot to do with the energy that we are in right now. And just to bring through as well with the family dynamics, we have been in a white dog wave spell that started on Christmas Eve, December 24th, and this is in the dream spell galactic Mayan calendar. White dog has to do with family. It has to do with relationships and love. Is it the unconditional love? Or is it that conditioned love? I will love you if you do X, Y, and Z. So these are some of the dynamics that have been playing out through Christmas time. And we really could be challenged in your personal one-to-one relationships or with family right now. Okay. Let's see. Usually I have my notes. I just want to make sure I'm getting what I want to. What are you really doing here on this planet for this lifetime? This is the question that Saturn is really bringing to the table. And that's a question that's going to be continuing through 2025. This is Saturn in Pisces. It will be conjoining the North Node and Neptune coming up. So this is setting the stage, this big question. What are you here to do? What are you bringing forward on this planet that will be initiating us into this new direction and this new beginning? But we got to sit with this. We got to have that reflection and see what this really, really is. And being open to the deep insights and the reflections that can be coming through around what is the purpose of our life, what might the world be missing, and how can we provide that? What unique offering and gift and skill that you have, that you are a master of, that you can bring forward to be the foundation for the new earth, this new world that is being created. So let me just pause there. All right, let me go back to Mars for a moment. We are completing the moon's North Node journey through Aries. the South Node going through Libra. We've been in that cycle for 18 months. And let's see, did I have the date written down? Yes, on January 11th, the North Node will be moving into Pisces. So from now until the 11th, Mars is still that rule over that North Node. And Mars has been retrograding through Leo and is going to be moving back into Cancer. This is so much, Mars, so much to do with this need to separate from individuals and relationships that are not allowing us to be our authentic selves. There is this need to go to the beat of our own drum, and where have we given that away to other people? Where have we dimmed our own light, our own desires in order to fit in with the group? To be nice and to be polite and don't shake the boat, don't rock the boat. Whereas Mars is this, I am going to go in this direction. I am going to initiate. I am going to follow my instincts. Aries is the I am. And in its highest expression, Aries Mars is being that leader, being that initiator, this individual, this energy of daring to go where no one else dares to go. Warrior, being a pioneer, and yet also being a protector. Caring for individuals, holding that space. When Aries and Mars are in its highest expression, that is the one who will go and open the door when something scary knocks, to defend and protect those behind it. So we're really coming into this, if you have been willing to do the work, if you've been willing to honor your instincts and your anger. Anger is this protective, defensive emotion. It has a purpose. It can get distorted, absolutely. It can get out of control, absolutely. But that doesn't mean anger is just bad and we should never have it. No, it has its place. It is that warrior. It is that leader who will go and open that door when something scary knocks. So we've been really working through this energy, and you may find yourself over these next few weeks coming into a culmination, or even this real building of like, oh, I've got to see and move through some place in my life where I'm codependent, to break that pattern in that cycle. And we do have a choice if we're going to do that. Now, Mars has been retrograde. Retrograde in Leo has to do with our heart. What is it that we love to do? Where is your heart and your soul leading you towards? And there can be this, as retrograde, this reflection. Is that thing in your heart actually coming from you? Or is it coming from these conditioned beliefs and expectations of the past? Or is that something you wanted to do a while ago and that's not who you are anymore? That can be some of that review that's coming forward. And then as Mars goes back into Cancer, well, let me pause there for a moment. So on January 3rd, Mars will be in opposition to Pluto at that 1 degree point of, let me just double check. Where's Pluto? Yeah, 1 degree of Aquarius. Pluto will be at 1 degree of Aquarius, Mars 1 degree of Leo. So there is, this can be very hot, fiery energy, especially on that world stage. So don't be surprised. I mean, honestly, don't be surprised if things are going to get really, really intense in January, because just based on the astrology alone, I'm expecting it. You know, like, okay, yeah, that's what's going to happen. That is one way it can play out. Just kind of let it go. Like, all right, we're clearing some stuff from the old that's really coming to the surface. This is part of that Pluto job, is I am going to make you see what you do not want to see. We're going to take a light and we are going to shine it down in the dirtiest, murkiest parts of ourselves and our psyche, with the collective, with our community. That's all Aquarius. We're having to see it in order to start to really bring in and break through this change, this new earth. We've got to keep cleaning up the shit from the old. Like, we got to go there, guys. So just know that there can be some fiery energy that's taking place. Again, just even here in the United States, you know, we're going to be having the inauguration of Donald Trump coming up as well. So, you know, we will see what plays out, but I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's totally a possibility. And if that is what plays out, why? And that why is that need. We got to shine a light there. We need to see this to change it. So I don't want to go too much into that, but I did want to bring that forward. This also, though, at some of that higher expression, is this true liberation of our hearts and of being that trailblazer and that pioneer. And just know, like, it's this time that we are in right now. If you have got your whole plan figured out, just be prepared to throw the whole thing away. Like, all my great notes here that I took, all these thoughts, just know there's a very good chance it's going to get tossed, because that's what it means to be in this review cycle, this retrograde. The direction that we are going in is probably going to be changing, and it's going to be changing for the better. There's again, the new ways, new experimentation. Pluto in Aquarius wants to bring in change. The analogy of when Pluto is in Capricorn, it's like a loaded grenade in a steel box. Pluto going into Aquarius. Who do you think wins, the steel box or the grenade? It's the grenade. So, but it doesn't happen overnight. So there is this breaking down that is happening within ourselves just as much as out in that world stage. So keep that in mind. Where is that new direction that you are being called to go into experiment? This really is going to be very much a time of deep surrender and deep faith, and getting comfortable in the unknown, which is what Pluto in Aquarius is bringing into. We've never been here before. We've never done these things. And oh my goodness, human beings do not like change. Change is upon us, and we need to get comfortable in that unknown and letting go of control. And letting that divine flow and dance of life to lead us where it takes us, rather than being in that resistance to it. What I'm also speaking of as well is Saturn in Pisces. This is Pisces energy, is this deep surrender. We got to. It's not all going to be worked out. It's not all going to be figured out. There aren't going to be these solid structures of reality yet. We are in that creation phase of it, and that will be part of the work that this new moon in Capricorn is bringing forward. All right, okay, so that feels complete. So now let's just tune back briefly into Mars going through Cancer, retrograding back into Cancer. This is going to be so much to do with emotions and being able to hold emotional safe space and finding the right people who can do that for you. Not everyone can see us as who we authentically are. And there's going to be a need to separate from those who cannot. To have compassion and love and understanding, and yet you can't see me. You can't understand me. We're living in different worlds, and that's okay. And there can be real healing to not take on that bitterness of that separation and just letting it go in that deep acceptance. Right, clearing that energy. So you may find as well, especially this, from now into January 11th, like that can be coming up into sharp clarity for you of who your true friends are and who your true family is. Like, whoa, I can't ignore this anymore. I have to see it. I have to separate. There's no longer dealing with some of the bullshit that we would deal with before just to keep the peace, right? South Node Libra. Oh, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to rock the boat. Meanwhile, a part of your light is like getting smaller and dimming because you're not being true to your authentic self. Like, all that is going to be changing. It needs to change. And so can you see that for what it is, or are you going to be in fight and resistance about it and not in that divine flow and where it's all taking you? When we are in resistance, that's when we have more and more of those cataclysmic changes that come through, as opposed to reading and feeling the energy of our lives and in acceptance of that and going with that. Let me give you just the example of children, especially toddlers, young kids, right? As a parent, you can have a plan that you're going to get all this stuff done and it's going to go this particular way. And then your child is like, nope, I'm hungry. I'm feeling really angry. I'm going to have a big meltdown, big emotional meltdown in the middle of the grocery store. And you as a parent can either try to silence the child, to squash it. So, not squash the child literally, but squash the emotions. You can do that through shaming, this conditioning as well. If you be quiet, I'll give you a cookie or whatever it is, right? And no judgment. We've all been there. Truly. It's I get it. It is our conditioned response in this particular Western culture as well. So we can do that, or we can also just be in absolute acceptance that our child is having total emotional mental breakdown and our plans need to change. So instead of fighting against what is, there is an acceptance of the present moment. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like that your child is having this big emotional meltdown in the middle of a grocery store. That's not fun. But you're not resisting it. You're accepting it. You're going with that flow and you're finding a new direction, a new path. So that's very much what we are being invited into with the energy and what the astrology and what's probably going to be coming through. Are we going to resist? Or are we going to just, again, that surrender and that flow to it? So see how that might be happening for you, especially around this emotional safety, feeling safe and secure within yourself and who those people are, and letting go of the ones who are not on your team. So let me see here. What else do I want to bring through? Okay, let's just move back for a moment to December 30th or 31st, depending on where you live in the world. We will be having our Capricorn New Moon, It's going to be at 9 degrees of Capricorn. So this energy is really about getting back to work. This is about bringing through this new world, but we need to put the energy and the time into it. Saturn is all about mastery. It is the hard work. It is that mean math teacher who you study for all the tests, and doesn't matter how hard you study, you still don't do well. And yet at the end of this school year, and you get that C, and you're just like, man, that's all I got was that C. But then there's Saturn with that twinkle in his eye being like, see, I knew you could do it. I knew if you put you through your paces and I made you work for it, that you could do it. That you, again, this coming into self-mastery. But we have to work for it. And again, with Saturn being in Pisces, Saturn is all about structure. And Pisces is the exact opposite. Pisces is it is the ocean. There is no glass holding that water. It is just what it is. So there's very interesting bedfellows, Saturn and Pisces, where there is this desire to create, to make that structure. And there is also that need to surrender, to really let go. And so Saturn is ruling this Capricorn New Moon, which is why I'm bringing in the Pisces energy, because that's where Saturn is. So there is this new beginning that's coming forward. It is time to get to work. It is time to build it. And this is especially true for those of us who are really being called on the path of the healer. And that's because Chiron, the wounded healer, who is in Aries, so again, this healing of this masculine energy and this strength that we're going through, Chiron will be stationing direct. So if you have any planets about 19, 21, give or take, of the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, if you've got planets there, you're going to be feeling this. And Chiron is those places where we have our deepest wounds. And it is by going through those wounds that we can become these great teachers and offer that back to others. This where we are broken is where the light comes through. And there's not, there's fewer of us than people speak of and say. But you'll know when you meet one. You will know when you meet a very Chiron person, that person who's deeply willing to go into the wounds, into the hurt. And they're also not just doing it for themselves. They are doing it for this greater good, for that collective. And then we see that as well in that offering back of that wisdom, that teacher energy, that humbleness to other people. So we're really feeling that Chiron. And Chiron, if you are sensitive to it, you've been feeling it. Before Chiron station direct, you've been feeling could even be this going back in time of this reliving of past wounds, especially around your I am presence, your ability to be a leader and a warrior, to be that pioneer, going to the beat of your own drum. You might have gone through this, oh my gosh, when I do go to the beat of my own drum, where I am my authentic self, I keep getting knocked down. So this has been a very deep healing journey with Chiron. all through 2024. And it's really beautiful that here we are at the very beginning of 2025, and there's Chiron right there, still part of this medicine and this wisdom, bringing us through, bringing us forward into this next year. And again, this need to go into the wounds, to see them, to witness them in order to come out on the other side. And then we have this wisdom and this gift to offer to others. So as I've shared, this Capricorn New Moon is going to be very serious. This real going within. Deep, deep reflections. And it's also, again, that need for safe space, need to be emotionally supported and having that right family. Also, to sort of bring in as well some of the dwarf planets, we have Ixion at 5 degrees of Capricorn. And Ixion's really going to be challenging us and asking the question, are the rules of society, of these traditions, these outdated expectations, like, are all these rules the right rules for us to play by anymore, or are they outdated? Is it time to change them? And we also have Quara, another dwarf planet, exact at 9 degrees with the sun and the moon. And Quara is this energy of being able to sing and dance. And from that space, can we create a new reality? So there is this absolute shifting that's taking place, where before our Capricorn world structure has been the patriarchy. It has been this fight to survive world. Your emotions don't matter. Stop crying. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps in order to survive. We're shifting from that. There's still the hard work of Capricorn. We're not throwing all of Capricorn out and not getting nothing done, right? We're still taking that hard work. But instead of creating from a place of chaos and fear, can we create from a space of joy, of play, of song and dance? And we're really going to, again, this emotional support. Where is the emotional safety? Are we being emotionally overwhelmed? Are the other people in our life, especially family, are they projecting their emotions onto us, their wounds onto us? And we see this strongly with the opposition to Lucifer in Cancer, who's retrograde. So there's this real opportunity, this choice to change the old patriarchy, top-down structures, those stories of the past. You can change them. You can change those outdated expectations, obligations. Go through all these hoops, and then I will give you that pat on the back. I will give you that love and that emotional support. Or we can change that story. But you have to be willing to see the story within yourself and then playing out again in the world. You have to be willing to see it. This reflection that Lucifer in Cancer is bringing for us. We might find that we're challenged in some way. This is in a square with Salacia right now. Salacia bringing in the higher octave. She's a higher love consciousness. Or are we acting from a more salacious space in our lives? It's like almost like caring more for ourselves and what it is that we want, rather than moving into this higher energy, this higher intimacy where both are honored. And she's also bringing in this opportunity to weather the storms that are coming, but it's this taking a leap of faith is Salacia. And it's, as you do, it's like you know when to take the leap of faith. So there could be a real pressure point, this real creative charge in your life in some way to see what that is. Oh, this is where I'm meant to go. This is what I'm meant to do. She's also helping to weather the psychic storms, the personal, the emotional, physical storms of our lives. But it is that surrendering and going with the flow of what is rather than resisting to it. Let me just see here. We can have a lot of, there's a quintile to Black Moon Lilith as well with this new moon. So this whole month cycle, okay, there can be a playing out of where we've given ourselves away into relationships. This codependency, all that still is being, the theme is still being played out during this coming month of January. Let's see here. Mercury is going to be going through Capricorn January 8th through the 27th. So again, bringing a very seriousness energy, very, very focused, genius kind of energy where our brows are kind of really getting scrunched and we're getting into it. We're focusing hard. We're very, very serious. Okay, let me just see if there's something else I'm missing that I want to bring through. So I really want to encourage you as well, especially with this mirroring that can be happening. Got Lucifer in Cancer. Mars is going to be moving back into Cancer, as we talked about. And we have the South Node finishing Libra. This quintile as well to Lilith in Libra. Look for the healthy mirrors of people in your life. Not the ones who are distorted, who are projecting their wounds onto you, but the people who can authentically see you. Those are the ones who are going to be that safe space. Those are the ones that you want to connect with and to take in that, again, that mirroring, what they see in you, to help break through, giving you that new choice with the stories, breaking away the old stories, the old script, to write the new one. So really know that the relationships and the people around you can be really helping you to like fine tune. Oh, nope, that's the old story. I'm not going there. But oh, this person over here, they can see me. Wow, what they just said really touched me. Is that really who I am? They really see that in me? So look for that. That's going to be so like helpful for you this coming month. And if you're sensitive, you're already picking up on it. So yeah, this is really going to be a very, very creative time that's coming through, but there can be a real exploration, this going through the desert, wandering through the desert before we know what our real direction is. So surrender to that process. You know, be serious, be focused, but again, letting go of the old rules, the old stories. It's time to write a new one. And it's time to come into this different space of creation as well. And this being open to what is coming our way. So, goodness, as I said, I'm sure I haven't touched on everything. I'm sure if I'm getting some major transits, we will have the North Node moving into Pisces on January 11th, but I will leave that for another video. So just know that right now, though, these next few weeks, we're really playing out the Aries-Libra polarity. It's coming through thick and strong. And just give yourself that ability, that time to go within and to see with mindful awareness and compassion what that means for you. What are those old stories? And to make the choice to leave the patterns behind and to write your new one. I do hope this was helpful. If you would like a birth chart reading for yourself to help you better understand why you are having the experiences you're having, again, please reach out. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'm wishing you a wonderful, beautiful start to this new year of 2025. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.